Hi Virgo, I hope that you're all doing well. We're here with a timeless reading for you. The first card that we have out is King of Pentacles. And Knight of Pentacles and Nine of Wands. Okay. When we have King of Pentacles and we have Knight of Pentacles with one another, this means that you have some type of vision, you have some type of organization, and you want to make sure that the steps that you're taking are supportive of that. So if there is a position, let's say, that you play, a role that you play that's important to you, it's something that, like, you have this title, it means something to you, and so you want to make this as efficient and easiest as possible for yourself. When we have Knight of Pentacles, it means that you want to make sure that you're doing things that support you in this position. So you can be laying down the groundwork, you can be having, when it comes to the Knight of Pentacles, it can be sometimes the less like action filled stuff and more the like, I have to write my checklist and I need to go down it and I need to make sure that I'm doing those things so I can be showing up properly. It's like all of the stuff that you need to do to support this position that you play. Having this Nine of Wands here can show that. And the Knight of Pentacles, it moves slowly, and so it's that slow long-term progress that we end up making, which ends up being the most solid out of all of the different knights. This one builds the most solid stuff, but it takes the longest to do because there's stuff within 3D that you're manifesting, there's stuff that you're bringing together, there's stuff that needs to be done, all of the energy, all of the employing your energy into this thing that is important to you, and also to it's gonna have to take the time that it needs to take. And how do I remain loyal to this thing that I'm doing? How do I remain constantly giving my energy to this, focusing on this? How do I devote myself? That's definitely something with the King of Pentacles, because if this is something that matters to you, it's something that you want to be doing, it's a role that you want to be playing, taking steps that support that are necessary. You don't just like say, this is me and I'm playing the role, and then you don't do any of the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. Knight of Pentacles is about you doing the things that you have to do when you play this role. So those things go hand in hand. It's kind of like the position and then the actions that need to be taken that are linked with you playing that position. Given that, we have the Nine of Wands here, which shows you've been working away, you've been doing what you need to do, but you can feel like you're kind of spent energetically at this point. You can be feeling tired, you can be looking around feeling like things are moving so quickly around you and you're barely moving at all. That can definitely be the feeling with this. It feels like this day in and day out, I'm showing up and I'm doing the stuff that I have to do when I'm playing this position. Simultaneously, it just feeling like you can look and feel like there's a long way to go still, and you can also feel like this is just taking a lot of energy. See how this person is over here leaning like this is where you are right now, but you kind of have to go all the way up here, but you're just right here right now and you're not moving that quickly. That can more so be the feeling of this, of just I still have that far to go within this. Can be a bit of future thinking here that may be displacing your perspective presently. But maybe also feeling a sense of liberation thinking about the future too, because if things are feeling like a bit of a struggle or that it's taking a lot of energy currently, that can be something that you're having a difficult time being present to because of it feeling challenging. And there can be a part of you that's starting to have your doubts a little bit too. I'm seeing Five of Swords on the bottom of the deck. This can be a change of mind that's needed, but what you can find too is that when we have Five of Swords come up, it can be this looking around and having like us being in a position where we feel like we're struggling and then looking outwardly and feeling a type of way because of that, like it shouldn't be this hard, it should be easier, or I should be there by now, or like why does this person have that and then I don't when I've been over here working. It can kind of be that bit of a narrative when we have the Five of Swords coming up, and it can be something that you're starting to notice. It's not bad that you're having these thoughts if that's what you're experiencing. This is more so information that's coming up, and it can also be a time where you work with your mentality as well. You have a bigger reason for doing this. I actually get the feeling that you're closer to things faring well for you than you realize yet. I kind of see it being one of those times where like the whole time you don't see how close you are to the finish line. And what happens is that like when you're very close to it, which I get you even being very near to it now, you're whatever had been not allowing you to see before gets removed, and you realize that it's only a couple steps away, and you're like, oh, I can do that. I feel like it's one of those times where you sort of been being, you can feel like you've been being tested a little bit, or like you've been testing yourself moving through this of like, is it worth it to me? Is it worth it to me? Is it worth it to me to keep doing this day in and day out, to be showing up like this? Am I really going to get what I need from this? Is this going to be a successful investment, a sustainable investment of mine? And then I'm seeing you get very, very close. And again, it's almost like you're not at that point where you see that it's sustainable yet. Like you're not at that point where you've gotten what you need back from it yet, where it's sort of that like reciprocity, and then something gets pulled from what was covering your perspective before, and in that moment of clarity you see that you're much closer to this than you thought you were. Because at first it feels like there's this imagining that it's far away. And I'm seeing this be more of a like in your head, how you're imagining things. This isn't like you know that it's going to take X amount of days or this amount of time to get there. This feels more so like in your calculations of how you assume how long it's going to take you to get somewhere and for something to happen. You're seeing it as being all the way down there, and as soon as this clarity comes through, you're going to see that it's much closer than you thought. And so this almost feels like a little bit of a head game that you've been in with yourself here. But maybe that's also been necessary, because if it's worth it to you, it's worth it to you, right? Like whether it's right here or it's a couple steps away, isn't it still going to be worth it to you if this is what you want to be doing, if this is what you feel like you need to be doing, even if this is what you feel like is aligned with your path? And so it can be a time where if that's not the feeling, if you're looking at something and feeling like, is this actually worth it to me, it can be a time when you maybe reframe some things or you reevaluate. Otherwise, this can be something that strengthens your regard for playing this position, and that is something that you convince yourself even further, become more sure of. This is definitely what you want to be doing. So it feels like either way, it's going to be something that it's challenging to you in a way that may fall away, and you feel like there's that lack of desire to play this role, or it's going to be something that strengthens that, like, this can be hard and that's just fine for me right now because this is what I want. I wonder too if you get the feeling like the sun is setting a little bit here and like some things aren't done yet. When it comes to your ability to show up and do what needs to be done, that can be where you're feeling a little bit stuck here. I'm seeing King of Wands and I'm seeing Eight of Swords. King of Wands is the part of you that's ready. You're going to handle things. You're going to get things moving. You'll initiate what you need to do. You'll show up and do what needs to be done. It's about that outward expression and initiation of action. But then when we have the Eight of Swords, it's like all the mental stuff that gets in the way. It's like the ball is coming to you and you just know automatically to put your hands up so you can catch it. But when you're overthinking, it's like you block your hands from going up and catching it, and so you get smacked in the face with it. It feels like that type of, because of there being this, you know what this feels like to me? It's like not this feeling of resistance when you're in the training, and you know that you're going to have a great time when you get in the game and everything's moving, but right now it's the training to get you prepared so everything can be set up, which is just as important when we don't have the preparation and then you just want to go and have fun. There can be some shortcomings that you see where that that groundwork wasn't laid yet. And so as much as you can be like, here's the thing again, day in and day out, me doing this, and now I'm feeling stuck, and why is it taking so long, and why do I feel like I'm barely going anywhere? Meanwhile, you've been making progress this whole time. I feel strongly that this is not about what you're doing. I feel strongly that this is specifically about your perspective of what you have going on. Because I'm seeing you do what you need to be doing here. It's something that it does take energy, yes. It's taking a lot of effort, yes. But I'm not seeing there be any issue as far as the things that are being done. This feels more so about your mindset. And especially when it comes to the work that needs to be done when you play this position, that this is just the necessary stuff. It's just the natural stuff that comes along with you playing this role. Because I'm seeing you be somewhere within your life where there's autonomy within the position that you play. King of Pentacles and King of Wands are the most autonomous cards when we're talking about court cards. These are the energies where you're taking care of business, you're taking care of things, you're self-reliant, you're doing what needs to be done, you're self-motivated. And I wonder if the part of you that may want things to be a little bit more energetic, a little bit more fast, a little bit more intense, that part of you may be struggling a little bit with this day in and day out stuff. And that can be where this is coming from. There can be a part of you that wants to like unleash your energy in some way, and you can feel like, but now I have to use it for this and I have to be taking care of these things, and that can be where you're feeling a little bit stuck as well. Yeah, I get this. King of Wands is here. This is the part of you that needs to show up and take action. Eight of Swords is this like overthinking, being stuck in your head. Then the Seven of Wands comes up and there's a defensiveness about that. Defensiveness in a way where it even feels like there's a like feeling kind of triggered by the situation that you're in. Meanwhile, things actually being fine. Yeah, I'm seeing this again being reinforced. You're where you're supposed to be. You're on track with everything. The only like issue or problem here that I'm seeing, or like thing that needs to be addressed, is just your mentality with this. There's like actually you working with your head space, you working with your brain, you working with your mental energy. Because when you get shut down, things get more difficult. And so this feels very much like needing to work with yourself from a psychological standpoint and to keep doing what needs to be done and to not give up too. When we have Knight of Pentacles, and we have Seven of Wands. This is like, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Like, you need to not give up. You need to keep pushing through with this, even though, yes, this feels like a challenge right now. I'm not saying that this is easy and you're just complaining or anything like that, but this is more so like, this is just part of it. Don't allow something being difficult, don't equate that with you being in the wrong space, because you're definitely not, or that you're supposed to be doing something differently or something is going wrong. It's not that at all, because over here we're ending with Six of Pentacles and Four of Wands, which shows that there is reciprocity there within that. You will definitely get what you need. You're not investing in something that you won't get like a fair exchange back from it, and that this is actually harmonious for you. This position is a harmonious position for you. And I'm seeing too that if you haven't fully seen this Six of Pentacles come through, where you feel like in a way you've sort of gotten what you needed from this, maybe even as a form of confirmation at this point that this is where you're meant to be, having Six of Pentacles and having Four of Wands, this can be a moment that you sort of get back what you've been putting in. And it's a moment that is a celebrated one. But this feeling of, maybe I don't know something that I'm supposed to know, like maybe something's happening and I'm just not getting the information about it, maybe I'm in the wrong place, like just all of this questioning that's happening. This is something where it's like your triggered energy and like your defense is coming up, and that like, do I need to be on guard here, like thinking something's going to be happening, when I'm not seeing that be the case at all. Like, nothing bad is happening. I'm seeing you be on track with this. This is just confirmation that you're in the right spot, and what you're being encouraged to work on, or what will make it easier for you if you work on it, is just your like mental health when you're in this space, just your psychology when you're in this space. And you're also working with two like kind of bossy aspects of your energy too, and so there can be like a little bit of tiffing between the two of them as well. Yeah, I want to say this again about the energy that I'm seeing. This is like I'm assuming that something, or like I'm, from my educated guess here, like I'm calculating that something is going to take more energy, or like what I need, or that finish line is going to be further away than I think. But I'm seeing it be not based off of like a concrete, you actually know this. This is just what's been going on in your head. And then you find out that it's actually closer than you had calculated. And then there's like this relief of like, oh, of course I got that, no problem. It's like you're running the race, and in your head, because you haven't seen the finish line, you think that it's like miles away. And you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. It's so far away. It's so far away. I don't know if I have it in me. And then you turn the corner and the finish line is right there. And you're like, oh, no problem at all. And then you run through and everything is fine. And it's all like, it's all about your mentality. Because you would have had to cover that ground anyway. It's just about your perspective of this thing that you're doing here. So that's what I'm seeing the vibe be within the reading. All right. With that being said, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.